Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah,
He
well,
did great.
yeah, Bilal Muhammad did well. That was through Ali. Ali basically contacted Khabib and asked if he can join the training camp at Nas, at Prince Hamdan's beautiful facility. It's a private gym up in Dubai, and of course, anybody with Ali can come train with Khabib. They're like brothers, so it's a given. And when Bilal came in, his main sparring partner was many people, but Abu Bakr was one of them. They did some great rounds together, and Khabib took a very good interest in him, and he goes, "Coach, I'm going to help him because I think I can help him." And he says, "I think I want to help him. I want to see him win." And I said, "Good, okay." So Coach Khabib is becoming not fighter Khabib, Coach Khabib. And if you watch him, you see he's just like his father. Just like his father. He adds a little bit of the twist with things I've taught him, but the vast majority of what he does is what he learned from his father, and it's pretty amazing to see the love he has and how he writes these guys. He kills these guys. I mean, but this is the beauty of it, right? He'll do this, right? 2 days, these guys, he kills them. He kills these guys. And next thing you know, he'll call me, "Coach, I think that maybe the guys don't come to train tonight. What do you think? I think they need a rest." And I said, "Yeah, I think so." So he always does that. So he takes them to a certain limit, but he doesn't kill them over. He knows what he's doing. He'll drop them off. He'll take some time off. Then he'll go back to it again. He trains very hard. He's a hell of a coach.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, you guys. How you doing?
We're doing well. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Good to see you. And I'm looking at me. Good to see me.
You're like a living Nostradamus. Like the things that you say have come to fruition. You've been on this podcast many times before. You've talked about the future of the UFC lightweight division. Islam Makhachev, it's his. It's here now. It's 2022. It happened in the year, I believe you said. Right, Helen? You can collaborate this.
I actually sent you the clip last night.
In a perfect world, Islam Makhachev is going to win his fight, and then we're going to fight for the title, and he's going to win the title. And I know he's going to win the title, but in a perfect situation, this could be this year. I said in a perfect world, he wins one more fight, and then he'll win the title when he fights at the end of the year. In a perfect world, I said that. And it happened. So you know what? Nostradamus, right?
Yeah.
That's
you
me.
You are, yeah.
They can send me money, right? And I can give them predictions.
How many champions now have you coached with AKA? There's the Luke Rockholds, there's Cain Velasquez, Frank Shamrock, Khabib, DC, Islam. Who am I missing?
On the UFC side, I don't think you're missing anybody. I think that's it for UFC. It's
you got so many weight classes covered.
Yeah.
Total weight classes, I think, is 7.
Incredible.
7 weight classes. But as far as fighters is 6, because remember DC won 2. And we're not counting the other champions. To be honest with you, I haven't even counted, so I don't really know. I'm just always looking, what's next? Who's the next guy? And for me, the next guy is Usman. Habib's cousin in Bellator, November 18th. That's who's next. So my focus is on him. It's not on what's already behind me. That's behind.
Well, you're certainly up there. You and Khabib got to be up there for Coach of the Year. 2022.
Let's just leave it for Khabib.
List.
Let's leave it for Khabib. Khabib, Coach of the Year. Me, let him be that.
We love your humility. So in the moment that Islam won the belt, how does that championship moment compare to Khabib winning his championship?
This one was actually pretty special because Khabib was with me. So this is the first championship that we coached together. And, he was so excited. I didn't even get to hug him. He jumped in the ring right away. I was like, yeah, look, where's Khabib? He's already in the ring, jumping up inside. And I'm like, well, okay. So this one was pretty special in that regard. Regarding the leading up to it, I've learned to control my emotions. And I am like a zombie inside. I don't get nervous anymore. There's no tingling. There's no nothing. And I just figured, the best way I feel is to be completely inside, not nervous or stuff, not jittery, because if you're looking around here, you're missing there. So I'm totally focused on what's ahead. I don't get excited, because if I get excited, that excitement moment hits me, and I'm not thinking about what I might be able to say to my fighter that can help him. So I've learned to stay, as relaxed as possible, because I preach relaxation all the time. So I have to myself learn how to empower myself by relaxing, and I have, and I'm very happy about that, because, I used to lose so much sleepless nights just thinking about, what if we lose? Oh my God, like none of that no more. Now, if I don't sleep, it's because I was out gambling all that night.
Didn't have that in Abu Dhabi.
No, didn't have none of that in Abu Dhabi. They got everything else but that.
You're still doing that here?
Mm-hmm.
The gambling? You
I
gambled
think-
last night?
Yeah, Planet Hollywood, yeah.
But they put you up in that nice suite, though.
Not this time.
Oh, why?
Didn't spend enough last time?
You know what? I could have it. I just didn't want it. I said, no, put me in the lower. Yeah, I didn't want it.
So back to that feeling then, was it more of a relief, or was it this overwhelming level of excitement that you experienced when he'd submitted him? He's the new champion in the lightweight division.
It was overwhelming excitement that he's the new champion, and the mission accomplished all those years. So happy for him. He is such a great student of the game and such a great person. I love that guy. It's like unbelievable feeling to see someone that's such a good person achieve his dream, his goal. It was incredible. And look how he's talking. I want to defend the title. I want to do this. And then I want to go up to a welterweight division, and et cetera, et cetera. Don't doubt him. Don't doubt him. Do not doubt him. If he says that's what he wants to do, he can definitely carry it, because as it is, 155, he's a big 155 or so. For 170, he's not a small welterweight. Will not be a small welterweight when that time comes.
Yeah, because I actually just interviewed Henry Cejudo the other day, and he told me he foresees Islam winning that welterweight title one day.
I do too. He's that good. Look, Ali said, what did Ali said? Khabib can take the lightweight, the welterweight, and the middleweight title. 100% agree with that. If Khabib was still, but this is not Khabib time, this is Islam's time. But regardless, Islam is capable of winning the welterweight title at some point.
When would that time be right? Like, is there a certain amount of title defenses, or are there certain names that need to be checked off before you know the time's right? Or would you know the time's right just based off of weight cutting as he grows?
I think it's all based on what Islam wants and what the UFC will allow you to do and what they want. So, after Volkanovski title defense, which I'm expecting we're going to win, no easy feat by any means. He's pound for pound, but I feel we're going to beat him. And then, he'll probably defend Beneil. I think Beneil is deserving of the next title shot, 100%. I think he was deserving of this one, but politics being the way they are, the eyeballs are going to be more on Alex going up in weight, and challenging Islam than they will Beneil. So, that's the way that you guys know it's entertainment, first, and that's big eyeballs and entertainment.
Do you think Beneil just waits, or do you think Beneil has to fight one more person before he gets his title shot?
I don't know what Beneil wants to do, but I would strongly advise him, wait. Don't fight. He took a very dangerous fight.
Yes, he did.
On this one here, because he didn't want to stand on the sidelines. And man, he was impressive. I didn't know about the other guy. Never saw the other guy. And I asked Khabib, I go, what do you think of the other guy? Oh, coach, he's really, really good wrestler. He's a European something champion, ADCC champion or something like that. And I went, oh, okay. So I was thinking, okay, well, he's going to control Beneil on the ground. Didn't happen that way. So I was really, really, really shocked, and I was very entertained.
And for Alex Volkanovski to go up to 155, how do you think he would do against Islam?
I think he'll do as good as anybody, he's I think he has a heck of a time making 145. He's not a small guy. He's a shorter guy, but he's not small. He's a pretty big size. He's a very muscular guy. And, what I like about him is the way he carries himself. He's a professional inside and outside the cage. I really like that guy. I don't know him, but I like him.
How did you feel about the way that Charles Oliveira was conducting himself all the way up to the bell ringing for the first round of the fight?
Well, Charles Oliveira was fine. He didn't go out of bounds on anything. It was very professional. I mean, yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there. Islam, a little chirping too here and there. I'll submit you and whatever, and I'll knock you. Yeah, but that's all fight. It got people interested. Both sides, I thought, were very professional, in my opinion, as far as the fight game. Right, they're very professional. I thought so. I didn't think Charles was doing anything that I saw. And maybe you guys can tell me something I didn't see, but walking with the lion, that was cool as heck,
I felt his confidence was there all the way through. He did his pre-fight ritual where he shook your hand, Khabib's hand, hug, everything as he enters the octagon before the introductions.
Yeah.
He was confident all the way through. He thought he was certainly going to win that fight, and he had some moments, but when Islam brought him down and got on top of him, it was game over.
Well, think about this. Everybody that's dropped him didn't go to the ground with him. What Islam say? If I drop you, brother, I'm going to the ground, and we'll see, and what happened.
Luke Rockhold, before the fight, that Sunday before his fight in Salt Lake City, gave me an excellent breakdown of the fight, and he pretty much predicted it to the T. Just the strength of grappling with Islam and Khabib, too. It's just on a level he's never experienced against any other person at that weight division in history. And then come that fight, Charles is going to experience a strength that he hasn't felt before. And I think that was pretty evident by him going on top of him and submitting him the way he did in the center of the octagon.
Yeah, Luke, I don't know why, but, people go hating on him, right? And he says the correct things. He's telling the truth. When I look at his interviews, I go, yeah, he's spot on. I mean, he's a great guy. But, man, he's like, why people don't like on Luke? I don't know.
But
He's a good-looking guy. He's got the modeling maybe, too.
Have they always been that way towards him?
Yeah.
Since you've known him?
Yeah. They just, not too much, but not. He's never been appreciated like he should be, and when he does interviews and whatnot, or this and that. When he did that reality show thing, he got blasted.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean,
well, I can see why.
He's got the cockiness and the bravado.
No, I heard what he said.
Yeah.
Something about spit or swallow or something.
Yes.
Like that.
You can't be saying that. That's why you're going to get the perception that you do.
Perception is number one.
Yeah, but he pretty much felt that like the transition from Strikeforce to UFC as being the champion, he just didn't get the respect that he felt like he deserved throughout the process.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, but also too, losing to Vitor Belfort on your first fight didn't help him either. And he was nervous for that fight, real nervous. And I tried to tell him, I said, Luke, this is a little different. Be controlled. Go, oh, no, Hob, it's the same. I know. I said, no, it's not. And sure enough, when he was in there, if you watch the fight at the very beginning, he was too nervous. He slipped and looked very confident. He was, but he was nervous. It was a big stage for him, even though there wasn't a ton of people. There was a good amount of people, but it was different.
I think I saw him tweet something after the Anderson Silva Jake Paul fight.
Oh, really? What did you say?
Yeah. I don't want to misquote it.
Yeah, speaking of Anderson Silva Jake Paul fight, Jake Paul continues that undefeated streak and beats Anderson Silva, who many consider the greatest combat sports athlete of all time.
Yeah, that was a great fight. I mean, you watch that fight, you dissect that fight. Jake Paul did great. I was speaking to Jacob Chavez, who's one of his advisors and helps him in the corner there. I think he wrapped his hands for this one. I'm not quite sure on that. But, Jacob was telling me how well he was doing in sparring with the former world champions and boxing, and he was sparring them all the time, and so I already knew that he was going to be better because of what the words coming out of his mouth were very confident. And Jacob's not somebody who's going to tell me something false. So I knew that he was going to be ready to go. And we talked about, I said, hey, have you guys planned for if your plan of attack doesn't work as well, of coming in the inside? Because coming in the inside with Anderson is, I feel, the best bet because Jake has a lot of power. So if you can get him inside, you can deliver that power, one-for-one type of exchange. You hit me, I hit you. And I felt that Jake Paul could win in the inside if it came to that. And it did. But they planned for that. His corner planned for going to that stage their plan B didn't work, the plan C didn't work. They're gonna go plan F, and they did, and it worked.
Sorry to interject, but he said, or he tweeted, "I beat Silva in boxing, bet the house."
Huh? Bet the house.
I don't know. I'm just reading his tweet. "I beat Silva in boxing, bet the house."
Whose tweet?
Oh, Luke.
Luke's.
He beat Silva?
I-
What does that mean? Oh, you sparred him or something? Or
I think he's just saying, if I'm
Or
in those
he-
shoes, I beat Silva, bet the house on it.
oh, okay. Well, he can box. Luke can box.
On Jake Paul's note, though, where do you go from here? Because he's got a lot of options. They talk about Nate Diaz, but look, Nate Diaz isn't the same size as an Anderson Silva and the other people. He's a 155er that fought at 170 at the end of his career. If you're Jake Paul, do you continue this road of UFC fighters? Do you go to the YouTuber, the KSI? Do you try to go Tommy Fury again? I think that ship sailed. What do you do next if you're advising Jake Paul?
Nate Diaz. Biggest eyeballs to the screen. Nate Diaz. They already fought each other. Nate already slapped somebody from his entourage, corner guys in the back of the fight. I heard it. They got into it. They showed it.
I saw.
So Nate Diaz. There's nobody else for him to fight that's going to get as much attention than Nate Diaz.
I'll throw one name out there. I don't know where he's at mentally right now, but he's making a comeback. Your favorite person in the world. I'm just being sarcastic. What about Conor McGregor?
I hate that guy, so no.
But it bring eyeballs.
It does, but I don't like him.
And he literally has similar tattoos. He's
Yeah.
called him out multiple times. He's actually boxed before against the same competition that his older brother fought in Floyd Mayweather.
No, I'm not going to disagree, but I still go Nate Diaz.
Okay, because the storyline's there. And Chris Avila, his
Chris
teammate,
Avila,
has
that's
been on
right.
every Jake Paul
Hey,
undercard.
what about Chris Avila? He go fight up in weight and fight his brother Logan Paul. They fight each other on the same card. What do you think about that? I know Avila's much. He's 155, I heard. But
That's up to Logan Paul. So then Logan Paul goes from Floyd Mayweather to Chris Avila.
why not? He could be the undercard. He hasn't won.
He hasn't won.
Yeah, he's got a big name, but he hasn't won.
He hasn't won. He's interested in the spectacles. He's going to be in Dubai, professional wrestling, Roman Reigns, WWE superstar.
He's really good entertainer. you know.
They're great.
But I don't put him in the same category as Jake as far as the art of sweet science.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Jake's the
there's-
better boxer.
He puts more time into it.
Mm-hmm.
He dedicates himself to it. He has professionals year round doing this. He's serious. And if you didn't take him serious back then, I think you should take him serious now and give him his credit. I mean, how often does a YouTuber come out and do what this guy's done and actually boast and actually come on? How many people thought about a year ago that he could beat Anderson Silva? Not me.
No?
Not me. I'd have said, to stay away from Anderson Silva, stay away from Peter Belfort. That's what I would have said. And I did. I actually said that. Stay away from them. Why? He's not ready for them yet. Well, I was right. Nope, I wasn't right. I was wrong. Because look what happened a year later. But that was a year later, training consistently like he did, brought him to another level. And he was impressive.
But did you see those quote conspiracy theorists? People try to say, "Oh, well, Anderson, what did they say about the knockdown?"
There's always going to be naysayers. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't clip him, he took a dive, yada, yada. We were there. We were ringside.
Yeah.
It was as real as it gets. And it's kind of like a lose-lose situation for Jake Paul. He wins, you just beat a 47-year-old MMA fighter. You lose, you just lost to Anderson Silva. We expected you to lose to Anderson Silva. He was in a lose-lose.
Yes and no. I mean, he, that 47-year-old just got through beating Chavez Jr., who was a former world champion, and that's legit, So and he beat him. So I don't know. Do you really lose, or do you got credibility for most people now? I think most people now that we're on the bandwagon that he sucks, blah blah blah. I think they need to come on the bandwagon and say, okay, he's good. But he's not the best, of course not. But he's still working on it.
I think you're a fool if you're not on the bandwagon that he's legit, because look at what other professional boxers do in their first 6 fights, 7 fights. They're fighting people that are part-time cab drivers or Uber drivers or whatnot. How is fighting professional MMA world champions different? It might even be a step up in the competition your first 6, 7 professional fights.
How many people have 5 fights the way he did and go 8 rounds pro boxing
Right.
rounds?
They usually go 4 or 6.
4 or 6. Yeah.
It's different.
Because they're not ready for that level, and this guy was. So that's why I'm saying you got to take him serious, because he takes himself serious, and he's got some serious power.
He's calling out Canelo.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
Is it crazy?
Is it crazy?
Is it crazy? Yeah, maybe. But is it? Really? Is it crazy? Maybe. I don't know.
They're going to end up fighting at some point.
Let him fight Nate Diaz. I want Nate to get a big payday.
So how
I like that. I like that too.
how would you see that fight playing out?
With Nate Diaz?
Yeah.
It would be one of those things that Nate's going to be in his face, and can Nate take his power? You know, because if Nate can't take his power, it might be a bad night. But if he can, because Nate's going to be in his face, he's going to be in his grill, and he's going to be punching him. And it ain't going to be like, you know, like stopping. He's going to keep punching and punching and punching. It's going to go continuous where Nate's going to punch, 70, 80 punches a round or more.
Where do you see this thing going with Jake Paul? Like, I'm not saying where does it end or how does it end. I'm saying how far does he take this brand that he's building in combat sports?
Take it as far as he wants. He keeps improving the way it is, you know? I mean, who's to say that 2 years from now or 3 years from now he doesn't fight a Canelo? Because remember, Canelo lost his bid for the light heavyweight title, right? He lost, right? And one of the reasons he lost was why? The size. The guy was just too big for him. So who's to say that Jake Paul a year and a half, 2 years from now can't be at that level where his size is just too much? Who's to say? I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, I thought it was interesting. I mean, they seem to have rebounded pretty quickly from the Hasim Rahman Jr. debacle about canceling the fight, the weight issues at Madison Square Garden, then going over to Glendale. I wouldn't say the arena was sold out, but it was a pretty packed house.
Packed house. Well, we went to watch it at a pay-per-view place up at the Planet Hollywood, right behind those stores they have back there, and it was half full of people going to watch it. So I was kind of shocked. So I'm curious to see how the pay-per-view numbers did. I'm not so sure they did so great based on what I saw there. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how they went as well.
And
But they were going up against some other primetime sports, too. You're in the midst of football season. You got the World Series, NBA basketball.
That's a lot.
You were up against a lot.
That's a lot. But they still, I would have expected that place to be packed, and it wasn't. And that fight was entertaining, man. It was an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
It was some of those rounds. I was looking at Blagoy Avanoff. He's the one I went my fighter, right? I go, Blagoy, who won that round? He's like, he goes, Jake. And I said, I think Anderson won. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, I knew for sure Jake won when he knocked him down. I go, okay, this was too close of a fight. Now I know the winner is Jake Paul.
Yeah, I thought it was really competitive. Through 6 rounds, I had it 3-3, and then the 7 and 8 rounds, that's where I gave the edge to Jake Paul, which I thought, but going into the fight, the longer this fight went, the more I favored Anderson Silva with his combat sports experience.
Yeah. You see Anderson putting the attack on him, putting more pressure. I mean, Anderson Silva came to win, man.
He did.
Maybe he didn't fight the right game plan. I don't, with his skill set, I don't know if I would have had him do what he did. But regardless, he still came to fight.
Those uppercuts and the close when they were clinching in the dirty box, those were clean. Those were great. I mean, those were effective. And he did impose his will in those earlier rounds. I just think Jake certainly improved a lot from the last time we saw him in Tampa against Tyrone the second time.
It was a nice jab, nice body shots, you know.
Combinations.
Good movement. I mean, he took good, decent shots, too. He got hit some good shots. Hey, man, I'm impressed with the guy. He impressed me.